Hello, I'm Ali Langdon. Welcome to A Current Affair. When Steve and Lizelle's daughter Gian was suffering, they turned to the mental health system. What happened next is not an easy story to tell. Gian was put under an involuntary treatment order, meaning their rights as parents were stripped from them. Experts believe this approach can be dangerous. How did the system get it so wrong for Gian and sadly many others?
Gian would still be here had these people listened.
Okay, let's go.
100%. She didn't have a voice. We don't have a voice.
There was nothing we could do, like our hands were tied. We had to watch the life just drain from her.
She chose death over life if life meant going back to that ward.
Do you know of any others in the last 12 months?
Yes.
Yeah.
How many?
There's at least 3 that we're aware of.
If you ask Queensland Health who Gian Ramsey was, they'll tell you she was a 17-year-old with an eating disorder who self-harmed and wanted to end her own life. But if you ask her family, they'll tell you she was cheeky, with a wicked sense of humour. She was a gymnast, she was intensely creative, she crocheted, she was really intelligent, and she did everything in her life with purpose and thought for others. Nothing in her life was an accident, including where she chose to end her life, just 200 metres from the mental health unit and the doctors who were in charge of saving her life. It's cruel when you walk this footpath to see just how close Robina Hospital's mental health unit on the Gold Coast is to the spot where Gian died. Yet the two places feel worlds apart. Grass, trees, purple gerberas, sunflowers and a tiny cross now overlook the local creek as a memorial to the 17-year-old. And just a few steps away, beige, bland brick buildings caged by high fences, where Gian spent 15 of the last 19 months of her life.
So this is Gian's room.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And so she's decorated it herself.
And this is where she wanted to be. At home with Mum and Dad, Lizelle and Steve.
This is the opposite of what the hospital was like.
Yeah.
You know, we had 5 children. She was the naughty one.
She's number 4. Yeah. She's number 4. She was cheeky.
I got a whole bag of lollies. A whole bag!
She was the boisterous one. She was the one who would go to observe the flowers, look at the bees.
But by her mid-teenage years, Gian started to withdraw and developed anorexia.
I was massaging her muscles because she had beautiful little muscles, you know, from gymnastics. Massaging the feet, and then went into the calf muscle, and it was not there. And I remember running to Steve. I said, "Oh my goodness, Steve, something is wrong."
It was the start of what would be 14 hospital admissions for Gian, 5 to the adolescent mental health ward. Her first 2 stays were voluntary, but during Gian's 3rd admission, Steve was presented with a piece of paper.
And I looked at it and I was, oh, what's that?
You'd
I said,
never
no,
heard
that's
it
it.
before.
I'd never heard of it. I didn't even know those sort of things existed. And I said, well, what's this for? She said, no, we think it's better to put Gian under a treatment authority.
The order meant clinicians were now taking over Gian's treatment as an involuntary patient. Over 2.5 years, Gian and the Ramseys would make 7 formal applications to bring her home. Every time, they were unsuccessful.
You haven't got a voice, regardless of what you say.
But you're her parents. You know
Doesn't
what's-
make a difference. They take your rights away.
She must have been feeling so powerless at this point.
She would often say, I will never get out of this place.
There was no plan, was there?
No plan.
No.
The revolving door of clinicians that come and go. Gian had to repeat her story at least 12, 13, 14, 15 times.
Gian's sisters, Kristen and Justine.
We could always tell how much it broke her to be stripped of all of these human rights. For 4 years, she fought so hard in a system that just constantly broke her down and constantly just ultimately just made her worse. And she kept fighting and kept fighting, but in the end knew that she couldn't beat it.
The longer Gian was away from home, the more she struggled with her eating disorder.
The problem with her at that weight, she is so unwell, and it takes so long to get them well. They want to put a gastric tube in. They get 4 burly security guards to pin her down.
Over 100 times was my goal, pinned down. On the shoulders and on the legs, they hold it down to get the entry tube in. I remember sitting in the room hearing her scream. Scream. Because she's getting pinned down to get a nasal tube in. That's just wrong.
Gian's final admission to this short-stay unit lasted almost 9 months, where doctors trialled different antidepressants. Her parents say one made her skin unbearably itchy and fueled her suicidal thoughts.
I walk in the room and Gian is pacing from one wall to the other. It's a little room. It's 3 meters by 2 meters. Up and down, up and down, up and down, scratching herself, up and down. I'm going,
What's going on?
Who is this? Who are you? My darling, you know that.
So doctors trialled another drug that Stephen Lizelle alleged wasn't approved for paediatric use and can suppress a patient's appetite.
You're giving my daughter, who's diagnosed anorexic, a drug that causes anorexia, and she hasn't eaten solid food in 9 months. Can you connect the dot?
She tried to take her life 3 times in their care.
You know what he said to me? He said maybe the dosage is not high enough. He then took it from 37.5 milligrams to 150 milligrams.
With clinicians refusing to discharge Gian into her parents' care, the 17-year-old was told she was going to be transferred to the adult mental health ward, even though she was still months away from turning 18.
The day before she's supposed to be transferred, we get a phone call. We're not doing that any longer. We're going to discharge her.
Something you've been asking for months is suddenly immediately going to happen.
Just like that, they're going to discharge her.
Gian hadn't been weaned off her medication, despite Stephen Lizelle pleading with doctors to delay her release until that happened. 10 days after she left the unit, Gian went shopping with friends. All evening, she was in phone contact with Lizelle until suddenly, silence.
I just knew. I had this feeling. I phoned Steve. I said, wake everyone up. Gian's missing. We have to go and find her.
They traced her phone to Robina Hospital.
And I just hear this scream that I'll never, ever forget. My oldest daughter screaming Gian's name.
Gian Ramsey died just before midnight on July 27, outside the mental health unit.
And I went and I lay next to her. And I held her hand. That was from midnight to 3 o'clock in the morning. And I replayed all that I'm discussing today.
Queensland has a mental health commissioner who's on the record saying that these involuntary orders should only ever be used as a last resort. And yet in a statement to A Current Affair, he admitted their use has been on the increase and he can't explain why. But a group of anonymous Queensland mental health staff confessed in a recent study they thought involuntary treatment orders were sometimes overutilised. This from one worker.
Sometimes it is driven not by people's mental illness, but by the fact that there could be adverse repercussions for a service. How is this going to look in the newspapers?
Gian's parents don't know if that's what happened in her case, but they want answers.
So we're the second highest in the country when it comes to the use of involuntary measures in hospital. So basically 1 in every 2 hospitalisations into mental health units are done by force.
Advocate Simon Catterall wants an independent watchdog created in Queensland.
And there's just trauma. If you are strapped to a bed, if you are detained by security guards, if you have forced medication put down you or injected into you, those are lifelong traumatic events that may actually sometimes be worse than what brought you into the hospital in the first place.
Psychiatrist and former Australian of the Year Pat McGorry says Gian's story proves our public mental health system is broken.
They've got no power to actually offer the sort of care that should be provided to patients. And this is just a feature of the neglect of the public mental health system all around the country. It's just retreated into the management of risk, and that's really an admission of defeat.
Queensland's chief psychiatrist has now commissioned a review of Robina.
Should the unit be shut down?
Yes, because I don't believe it can be repaired like a patchwork quilt. It is that bad and it's that decrepit.
A Current Affair is aware of at least 5 deaths since 2020 linked to the mental health unit, 3 of them teenagers.
They should be very therapeutic. They should be staffed with absolute top expertise, like you would expect if you went into a cancer service. That's actually not the case in mental health.
Now the Ramsey family just want to make a difference. Justine designs fitness clothing in her sister's name. Some of the proceeds from GearActive go to mental health charities.
Because it was created for her. I mean, it's literally her name, so really, really important.
So when people buy it, they get a piece of
Yeah, like
Gian.
a piece of Gian.
Yeah.
In her last words, is be my voice, go and help others, you shine the light.
They will know Gian's name and it's for Gian's legacy, but it's these people that are still suffering and the ones that are still going to suffer, Davina, if this doesn't change. And that's why we will fight.
And Gian would have turned 18 tomorrow. Well, Queensland's Health Minister Tim Nicholls told us he's concerned by the allegations. He's launching an investigation and wants answers by February. If you or someone close to you needs help, there is support available. Contact Lifeline 13 11 14.